Hello everyone, welcome to another interesting and informative session of the Analyst. In today's video, we are going to discuss 5 important topics from the perspective of the UPSC examination as featured in today's The Hindu and Indian Express. The topics are as follows. We will begin our discussion by inquiring about the low representation of women in the field of science and technology in our country. After that, we will study in detail about various types of lending facilities provided by the International Monetary Fund. Then, we will read about the 6th schedule of the Constitution, repeatedly seen in the news, and the associated provisions of Article 371. It will be followed by study of an important protected site, that is Jim Corbett National Park. And towards the end, we will study about the SANGEET NATAK AKADEMI Awards, which was conferred to various artists in the country by the President. The handout for the discussion will be available in the description of the video for your effective revision. So let's begin. While we are going to celebrate the International Women's Day tomorrow on 8th of March, at the same time, the underrepresentation of women in the fields of science, technology, engineering and mathematics in India remains a concerning challenge when it comes to achieve gender equality. This forms an important component of your GS2 paper under the theme of issues related to women. So let's begin our discussion by inquiring the status of representation of women in the fields of science and technology. As per Global Gender Gap Report 2023, 29% of all STEM workers across 146 countries are women. However, in India, the woman makes only 27% of the total STEM workforce. And as per the Labor Force Participation Survey, they makes only 33% of our total workforce. Also, as per All India Survey of Higher Education Report 2021, 42% of the graduates in the STEM field are women. Keep this in mind that India has the highest percentage of women graduates in the field of STEM. However, only 14% of these women steps in the world of employment in this field of science and technology. As we can see from the table that the participation of women in research and development projects has doubled from 13% in 2005 and 6 to 26% in 2022, even then they form a meager percentage of the total research and development activity which is taking place. Also, when it comes to the cutting-edge technologies such as artificial intelligence, which forms an important part of your Industry 4.0, which is based on modern technologies, only 1 out of 5 researchers are women. As per the data provided by the Indian Academy of Science, which was established by the Nobel laureate C.V. Raman, only 15% faculty members in big research institutes are women. This underrepresentation of women in the fields of science and technology is also reflected from their low share when it comes to Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize, which is given to the people who has significantly contributed in the fields of science and technology. For example, out of 571 scientists, only 20 of the prized people have been women. Thus, the question arises that what is the cause of such low representation of women in the fields of science and technology? Well, the first and foremost is the entry-level barriers which prevent these women to enter into these fields. For example, there is low skill in advocacy which exists among the women, leading to frictional unemployment, where these women does not have the acquired skill which is required to enter and work in such various technological fields. And this skill in advocacy is caused by the existing digital divide. For example, as per a report, only 36% of Indian women have access to internet. At the same time, there exists poor infrastructure which leads to low inculcation of the skill which is required for these women. And such poor infrastructure exists because of the low expenditure on research and development activities in our country. For example, India's expenditure on research development as percentage of GDP is only 0.7%, which is 24 times lower than China and USA. Further, such low skill among women is also caused by the patriarchal attitude, which leads to low grant of fellowships and jobs to these women in the fields of science and technology. And such patriarchal attitude exists because of the stereotype of men's jobs, where women are frequently associated with delicacy and thus unfit for these hard jobs. For example, as we have seen in the engineering colleges that there is low share of women in the fields of civil and mechanical engineering. Even if the woman passes all these entry-level barriers and reach somehow to the working place, they experience the dual role syndrome, where they have to manage their role as a working professional as well as a homemaker, and many a times these women bear the sole responsibility of nurturing the child. Thus, due to managing this dual role, as per World Bank, it leads to time poverty, where these women does not have adequate time to take care of their health as well as time to acquire futuristic skills. Also, there exists a paucity of female role models, where there are not enough female role models in the fields of science and technology to which these women can look up to and get inspired. For example, as of now, out of 866 Nobel laureates, only 53 of them have been women. Even if the woman just surpasses somehow these entry-level barriers and starts working in the field of science and technology, they faces several challenges of retention. According to the Global Workforce Insight Report 2021, almost 45% of the women complain about the challenges which they faced in the upward mobility, where their work was not recognized and they did not got any promotion. Also, 81% of the women complained that they faced some sort of gender bias when it came to their work evolution. Then there exists the lack of pay parity, where these women are paid less for the same scientific job in comparison to their male counterparts. Also, in these fields of science and technology, these women faces challenges such as inflexible work schedule, inadequate child care support, and a grave concern of sexual harassment at workplace. All these factors contribute to the Matilda effect, where the work which has been done by the woman is not recognized, is undercompensated, which ultimately makes them switch towards the pink jobs. For example, whether it was the British chemist Rosalind Franklin, who played a very important role in the discovery of the structure of DNA in 1951, Or it was the astrophysicist J. Bell who invented the first radio pulsar. Both of these women's work remained unrecognized throughout their career, primarily because they were women scientists. Thus, to address these concerns, several steps has been taken by the government. For example, the Beijing Declaration of 1995 aims to empower the women. Then the government launched the Science and Technology Innovation Policy 2013, under which the government aims to promote women in the fields of science and technology. Then there has been several initiatives launched by the Department of Science and Technology, such as Gati and Vigyan Jyoti scheme. The Gati stands for Gender Advancement and Transformative Institution, under which 30 plus institutes has been selected, where we are trying to promote women at a faculty position, senior managerial position. Also, we are trying to give them equal pay and maternity leaves. Then the Vigyan Jyoti scheme aims to promote the fields of science and technology among the rural women. Then there is Curie, which aims to create infrastructure and state-of-art research facilities in the women universities across the country. Also, under Kiran and Sir Power, various kind of research and fellowships initiatives are provided to promote the science and technology among women. Then, particularly in the field of biotechnology, such initiatives such as BioCare has been taken by the Department of Biotechnology. Also, the All India Council of Technical Education provides for Pragati Scholarship and Tech Saksham program. Beside this, there has been several affirmative actions which has been taken by the government, such as appointment of Dr. N. Kalai Selvi as the first woman chief of Center of Scientific and Industrial Research CSIR. However, according to World Economic Forum, if India is going to invest 2% of its GDP in the field of STEM, it will ultimately create 11 million jobs, out of which 30 to 40% can be garnered by women. Thus, there are also several other initiatives which we can take for the promotion of science and technology among women. First and foremost is positive parenting to break the stereotype of these women-friendly jobs and promote their inclusion in the field of science and technology. Then we can do some creative programs such as promoting women tech startups or providing them with paid internships. Also, we can take certain initiatives such as women-led technological parks. And then further, we can fortify the foundational literacy and numeracy outcomes by providing significant investments to ground-based research. Also, there exists need to strengthen the Prevention of Sexual Harassment Framework 2013 to provide safeguard measures for the women and provide them a flexible time schedule. Then we need to sensitize the public to inspire the young girls by making them aware about the works of various Indian scientists such as Kadambini Ganguly, who was the India's first female doctor. Also about Kalpana Chawla, who was the first female astronaut of Indian origin. And about Shakuntala Devi, who is famously called as a computer human. Then we can make them aware about Darshan Rangnathan, who pioneered the work in protein folding, and Asima Chatterjee, who played a pivotal role in the development of anti-malarial drugs. Again, we need to move away from running behind these so-called celebrities and finally start celebrating our Indian women scientists, as we did when the whole country applauded the rocket women of ISRO who played a pivotal role in the landing of Chandrayaan 3. With such steps, we will be able to achieve equitable quality education under SDG 4 and provide women equality under SDG 5, which will ultimately help India to achieve its sustainable development targets by 2030. With these suggestions, we move forward to the next news of the day. The International Monetary Foundation and its various lending facilities has been in the news because recently India has taken a tough stance where it has batted against the funding which is provided by the IMF under its standby arrangement to Pakistan. This forms an important component of your GS2 paper under the theme of important international institutions. So, we are going to study about these standby arrangements and various such lending facilities which are associated with IMF. Before that, let's first have a quick overlook about International Monetary Foundation, which was created in the year of 1945 under the United Nations Conference in Bretton Woods. Now keep this in mind that even though India got independence in 1947, it is considered as the founding member of United Nations because it was part of the British India. The headquarters of IMF is at Washington DC and currently it has 119 countries as its member. Keep this in mind that IMF lends only to its member countries, which stands at 190. Now, whenever a country becomes the part of IMF, it provides certain sum of money to IMF called as quota subscription. So, each of these 190 countries are part of the executive member of IMF and their voting rights is directly proportional to the quotas which they hold in IMF. These quotas are decided through several factors such as the weighted average of GDP, the openness of the economy of the member state, as well as the international services which that country is taking from IMF. Now, this quota subscription is denominated or expressed in SDR or special drawing rights. So, let's try to understand what are these SDRs. Let's say that several countries such as A, B and C became member of a club called as IMF. Now, these countries obviously they have their own foreign exchange reserves which they keep. But let's say traditionally these foreign exchange reserves used to be denominated by US dollars or euro. So now what started happening that let's say if the value of dollar or euro is going to decline, it also means that the savings which I had, the value of those savings will decline. So, under IMF, all these countries A, B and C agreed that we are going to create a basket of currencies which will be denominated by various currencies. Thus, even if the value of one currency is going to decline, I will still hold the value in the terms of other currency, thus providing my economy a better financial stability. So keep this in mind that these SDRs are international reserve assets which are created by the IMF to supplement the official reserves of the member countries. which means that SDR also forms part of India's foreign exchange reserves. The value of this SDR is based on the basket of 5 currencies. Which are these 5 currencies? It is dollar, euro, sterling, Japanese yen and Chinese renminbi, which was added in the year 2016. So these SDR is basically a unit of account and not a currency. Rather, it is a claim of currency which is held by the members. The value of this SDR is decided based upon summing the value of the quota contribution of a country in US dollars based upon the market exchange rate of SDR's basket of currencies, as we saw here. Now, this valuation of SDR is done on daily basis, and the percentage which they hold in the basket, that is reviewed every 5 years. Currently, the quota which is held by India, or the SDR held by India, is 5,821.5 million, which makes India the country with 13th largest SDR and provides us a shareholding of 2.4%. So as we have understood the special drawing rights of IMF, now let's try to understand the various lending facilities which are provided by the IMF. Before that, let's try to solve a question which appeared in the prelims 2011 with our knowledge which we have gained. So as we have discussed that IMF lends to which countries? The countries which are its member, and they are currently 190. So the option C is the correct option regarding to IMF. Now the IMF provides various kind of lending facilities, such as extended fund facility. This facility is provided to any country which is facing a serious medium-term balance of payment crisis. What do we understand by medium term? That the country which is facing this balance of payment crisis, it will take a period of time for it to recover from that, such as 3 to 4 years. And what do we understand by balance of payment crisis? In simpler terms, it means that the foreign exchange reserves such as US dollar or euro which I was keeping to pay for the imports which I was doing, now these foreign exchange reserves has declined and I do not have any amount to pay for the imports. Thus, I am facing a balance of payment crisis. This is where the IMF comes in and provides the currency from the SDR basket. Thus, the extended fund facility can be availed by any country facing a medium-term balance of payment crisis, and in return to that, it will have to do a structural reform to address the economic weakness. For these funds which has been provided by the IMF is going to charge at least 5% of interest rate based on special drawing rights. Then there is extended credit facility. Such credit facility is only provided to a low income country which is again facing a medium term balance of payment crisis. Now this extended credit facility is part of poverty reduction and the growth trust initiative of IMF. So in extended fund facility, the country is going to do a structural reform. So will do the low income country under extended credit facility, but here such structuring will be provided by PRG strategy or poverty reduction and growth strategy by the executive board of the IMF. In first case, in extended fund facility, there are certain conditions which are applied, which means that I'm going to provide you one part of the funds, then you will show me that you have done some reforms, and only then I will allow the second funds. However, in extended credit facility which are extended to low income countries, no such conditions are applied. They also have a longer term of 3 to 5 years and they do not charge any interest rate. Then there exist another two kind of facilities which are provided for the short term period. When a country is facing a short term financial assistance or short term balance of payment crisis, and it is understood that this country has reached a sustainable position but it needs financing for a short term period of 2 to 3 years. When we are providing such facility to all member countries, then that facility is called as standby arrangement, as it is being availed by Pakistan currently. And for that, Pakistan will need to pay 5% of interest rate as based on SDR. However, if the term is standby credit facility, then all the provisions will remain same. It will be a short-term financial assistance to solve BOP problems where the country has reached a sustainable position to finance for 2 to 3 years. But because the term credit has come, keep this in mind that it will be provided to a low-income country and they will be charged 0% of interest rate. Then there exists another kind of facilities such as rapid financing instrument and rapid credit facility. This rapid financing instrument is provided as a fast and concessional finance for a country which has developed an urgent need for balance of payment. Why such urgent need of balance of payment can arise? Because let's say that country is facing some external shock, or some war is taking place, or there has been some natural disaster which has occurred in the country. So in that case, this country requires an urgent balance of payment and it will go for a rapid financing instrument, which is obviously available to all member countries, and under this the countries can use up to the 50% of their SDR quotas. Because it is being provided in extreme situations, there are no conditionality, but 5% interest rate is charged under a rapid financing instrument. However, if it is a rapid credit facility, then it is provided to low income countries where they can also use 50% of their SDR quotas, and obviously if there is a low income country, they will not be charged any interest rate. So keep these lending facilities very dear to you for upcoming prelims, and we move forward to the next news of the day. The sixth schedule has been in the news because recently the central government has rejected the demand of Union Territory of Ladakh to be included in the sixth schedule and has rather offered to extend the protections under Article 371. Which forms an important component of your GS2 paper under the theme of issues related to minorities and development. So let's first try to understand what are these provisions of 6th schedule and why Ladakh is raising such demand. The 6th schedule has special provisions regarding the administration of tribal areas under Article 244 clause 2 and Article 275 clause 1. Currently, there are 4 states which forms part of 6th schedule, which are Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya and Mizoram or ATM Square. The reason Ladakh is raising such demand to be included in this schedule is because it provides for autonomy of the function at district level by creation of autonomous district and regional councils called as ADC and ARC respectively. Now keep this in mind that if one particular district has one scheduled tribe, then ADC will be formed, and if one district has several scheduled tribes, then administrative regional councils will be formed. which will have 26 elected members, 4 nominated members by the governor, who will hold office for the term of 5 years. Keep this in mind that this member hold this office under the pleasure of the governor, and thus governor can dissolve this council at any time. At the same time, the governor is also empowered to increase and decrease the area of these regional councils, because only partial autonomy is provided to these councils, and the rules and regulations of the state and central government still applies in this area. However, these councils get certain important powers, such as the powers to make laws on various subjects, such as, for example, forest management, agriculture, administration of village and town, as well as for the management of various local councils, for which they can appoint the officers for the enactment of the laws which they have made and for the better administration of the area. They can also establish village councils or courts where they can resolve the dispute between parties from various scheduled tribes. However, if there is an offense which is punishable with death or with punishment of more than 5 years, then only governor can confer power on these village council to take the decision or make the judgment on the basis of civil and criminal laws as applied across the country, such as, for example, CRPC. Then these ADCs and ARCs also have important financial powers, such as they can impose and collect taxes, they can regulate the money lending and trading in their particular area. Also, they can provide for licensing for the extraction of minerals. They can also establish various kind of public facilities such as schools, hospitals, roads, etc. That is the reason that Ladakh has been demanding for inclusion in 6th schedule, such as various bodies in Ladakh, for example, Ladakh Apex Body or Kashmir District Councils. However, as we have seen in the news that the Home Ministry has rejected the demands of these bodies because there are certain drawbacks which are associated with the 6th schedule. As this schedule is already implemented in the northeastern states, 4 northeastern states as we have seen. So there are also certain problems which exist in these areas which we have identified, such as creation of multiple power centers, for example, ADC, ARC, governor, then the district magistrate, all this which leads to ineffective administration in the particular region. Then there arises the conflict of interest between these district council and the state legislature, because this district council refused to implement the laws made by the state legislature. So either these laws are implemented in a diluted form as approved by the governor, or there is poor implementation of those laws at the ground level. Then these council also demand for the greater autonomy, as we have seen in Meghalaya, where these councils are saying that the assent provision of the governor, which is required to make the law enact, they are asking to remove that provision. Also, there exist inter-tribal conflicts where these scheduled tribes fight among themselves to gain political power in these district councils. Then all this leads to the underdevelopment of region because of the misappropriation of funds by these council, as well as existence of no uniform administration structure. Thus, the central government has been refusing the demand of 6th schedule for Ladakh and rather offering them inclusion in Article 371. under which the article 371A to 371J provides certain special provisions for 12 states, as we can see in the table, where the article aims to protect the cultural and the economic interest of tribal people and backward regions of these states. States such as Maharashtra and Gujarat, Nagaland, Assam, Manipur, all these forms the part of Article 371. Keep this in mind that this article or this provision was not originally in the constitution and has been added through various constitutional amendments. The reason central government is offering them to Ladakh is because inclusion in this article will also provide a limited autonomy to these councils, where they can create development boards. There can also be equitable allocation of funds, as well as regional councils can also be created, as it has been created in several states under Article 371. Thus, all these steps shall be taken, and at the same time, the autonomous district councils under 6th schedule shall be strengthened, and there should be more community participation for better implementation of laws at the grassroots level. With these suggestions, we move forward to the next news of the day. If you guys remember the iconic episode of Man vs. Wild show featuring Bear Grylls and our Honorable Prime Minister, that episode was shot in none other than Jim Corbett National Park, which is in the news for all the wrong reasons, as the Supreme Court has banned tiger safaris in the park and has also condemned the illegal felling of more than 6,000 trees for ecotourism in the national park. This forms an important component of your GS3 paper under the theme of conservation of protected areas, as well as for prelims under the theme of national parks. So let's try to inquire in detail about various facts related to this national park, which is situated in the Nainital district of Uttarakhand. And it was created in the year 1936 as Heli National Park to protect the endangered Bengal tiger. Keep this in mind that the Bengal tiger is still listed as endangered in IUCN list. Now, in the year of 1956, it was renamed as Jim Corbett National Park on the name of its founder, who died in the year 1955. This national park is also one out of the 54 tiger reserves in the country, and it holds 130 tiger population as per the recent tiger census. Now, also one important fact from your prelims is that India holds 70% of the population of tiger in the whole world. And this Jim Corbett National Park has the distinction of having the world's highest tiger density, where 14 tigers are found per kilometer square. Then this national park is divided into two main regions, such as the core, which consists of the national park, and the buffer zone, which consists of Sona Nadi Wildlife Sanctuary. Then there are three major rivers which traverses across this national park, such as Ramganga, Son Nadi and Kosi. Now, how UPSC plays the game with you is that one year they put Jim Corbett National Park in the match the pairs question, and in front of that they gave Ganga river. So it is not Ganga, it is Ramganga river. Also, when we talk about the flora of this region, then Jim Corbett National Park has dense moist deciduous forest. And beside having a significant tiger population, it also has other important faunas such as barking deer, sambar deer and spotted deer, which is also called as cheetal. Then there are certain other important protected areas in the state of Uttarakhand, such as you guys can see on the map, the Nanda Devi National Park and the Valley of Flower National Park, which together constitute UNESCO World Heritage Site. Beside these two, we have Govind National Park and Rajaji National Park. And towards the down south, we have Jim Corbett National Park in the district of Nainital. So keep these facts in your mind for the prelims examination, and we move forward to the next news of the day. The Sangeet NATAK Academy Awards has been in the news, the reason being that recently the President Draupadi Murmu presented the Sangeet NATAK Academy Awards for both 2022 and 23 to 94 eminent artists in the field of performing arts. What is performing arts? Such as dance, music, paintings, etc., which forms an important component of your prelims examination under the theme of current affairs. So let's try to inquire about the Sangeet NATAK Academy Awards, which was constituted in the year of 1952, which is given to various performing artists, teachers as well as scholars in the field of performing arts. The major aim of this award is to honor the Indian artists, only Indian artists who are aged above 75 years, because they were not accorded any national honor for their immense contribution in the field of performing arts throughout their life. So such people are recognized and honored by the President. And in this award, we give 1 lakh rupees of cash, Tamra Patra as well as Ang Vastram. Now there is another award which is associated with this, and that is called as Sangeet NATAK Academy Fellowship or Academy Ratna, which has been given to 7 artists. Now this award is the highest honor which is given to artist for his/her exceptional contribution to performing arts. And the prize money for this particular fellowship or Academy Ratna is around 3 lakh rupees. Now keep this in mind that this Sangeet NATAK Academy was formed in the year of 1953. Even though the award is being given from the year of 1952, and it acts as an apex body in the field of performing arts, and it is an autonomous body under the Ministry of Culture. So as in the words of our respected President, such arts shall be promoted, and at the same time there is need of creating awareness among the larger society for such people who has contributed their life in creating such wonderful art which has enriched our Indian culture. With this, we have reached to the end of the discussion today. Do not forget to attempt the questions at the end of the video and test your knowledge. We will meet in a very informative and very interesting session very soon. Till then, all the very best and thank you.